Hi, Dory. My name is Melissa Giller. I'm from Winnipeg, and Dana is trying to join in. She's also in Winnipeg. We are the co-founders of MomsMB, Moms Manitoba. So we're another chapter of the Moms XX group, as they're called. And I am a life and spiritual coach. So I actually work with virtual clients. I am based in Winnipeg, but I work with people all over Canada. So I am a mom of two myself. I'm married and we are two business owners. My husband owns a business and I own, two businesses basically. So there's been a lot on the go. Dana, do you want to join in with a bit of your background?
Hi, Dory. So
For
I
people,
moved to Winnipeg.
not just
Okay, amazing. I moved to Winnipeg in January from Toronto, just before COVID hit. We went away to Palm Springs in March, came back, and my son had some bruising all over his body. We went to Children's Hospital, and he was diagnosed with ITP, which is a blood platelet problem. Anyway, he was diagnosed with ITP, so we spent a lot of our time during COVID in and out of the doctor with him. And I was unable to go back to work from mat leave because, oh, okay, because of COVID. So I had to extend my mat leave for 6 months, which was a lot of being home with them. And then I just started work again in August. And after a month of that, I started in a brand new position to me. And so I have been dealing with a lot of changes. I mean, everyone's dealing with a lot of uncertainty. New-ish city, health issues, new job, a ton of stuff. And so that is what we're here to talk about, is how do we deal with all of the stuff, because none of it is easy for any of us.
Oh, goodness. Yeah.
Is that an okay segue?
No, it's a perfect segue. I think
I'm going to try to get my camera on now.
Yeah, that'd be great. It'd be great to see you and try to have a discussion if possible. Because really, we've got to be realistic, right? This is something none of us have ever dealt with before. It's kind of one thing to become mothers and transition through that and go back to work and even just deal with the learning of how to balance life as it is, and then maybe add another baby to the mix. But then when you throw in this pandemic on top of things, obviously it's double the stress, double the overwhelm, double the unknown. It can be super overwhelming. I think we lost Dana. I'm not sure. She's refreshing, so maybe she'll come back. But basically, we have to look at, I think, 2020 as a time to give ourselves a little bit of a break and take a step back and maybe reevaluate how it is that we're approaching these things. Oh, yay! There you
go. Okay.
That's so good. Okay, awesome. So if you missed that, Dana, I was just saying that I think 2020 is the year to kind of reapproach how we're balancing our lives and our approach on just how to maintain a sense of control and peace when it's totally unlike anything we've dealt with. And it's hard enough in general, right?
Yeah, totally. So I don't know. I'm basically just along for the ride with COVID and life. But what are you feeling like? How are you telling your clients that we should be managing or coping or surviving? Because it really isn't surviving right now for most people. It's literally just
Sorry.
Surviving.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. We're not really at that thriving stage. I don't think yet. So, but you actually said the word of the day in there, and it was should. How should we do this, right? And that word should has so much power behind it that we actually don't realize sometimes. And so a lot of the times in our approach to life is we're shoulding ourselves. Do you know what that means? Have you
No, I can
heard
guess.
that before? So shoulding ourselves means basically we're telling ourselves what we need to be doing, and it's generally not really actually coming from ourselves. And when we stop to actually pause and think about the shoulds in our day, where are they coming from? Are they coming from maybe a like long lost parental voice that's telling us we should mind our manners, or we should make our bed before the day starts? Or is it coming from that old boss that told you you should work 40 hours a week if you're ever going to get ahead of yourself? Or is it just the kind of societal constructs of you should have a perfect home because you're there more often, so you should be doing some vacuuming in your free time? Like, where is it coming from? And I think it's trying to downsize a little bit of the shoulds in our life and reorganizing and redistributing. If the should isn't something that is going to fulfill us, why are we doing it? What is the point? It's the perfect time to re-examine how we're spending our time.
What about the things that we actually are obligated to do?
Right. Like work.
Yeah.
Shouldn't we work?
Pick up
Well,
our children from
absolutely.
school. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the point is all like, well, maybe you shouldn't work. Is it really like you have to overall examine your life? And if you're in a situation where maybe you don't actually need to be working, I mean, everyone has their own unique set of circumstances and desires. For me, I love to work. I would just lose myself if I wasn't working. And I think a lot of people are that way. But the point is, whose priority is it to work? And so when we're seeing how we place those shoulds in our life, we can kind of redistribute. Now, with the things that we do need to be doing, the priorities that do need to get done, when we've eliminated some of the things that are a bit draining on us, we can actually redirect our focus to those things that truly do matter or provide the fulfillment or stability or income that we need, right? So that's
Yeah.
where it's all about setting yourself up for success in the day.
And then what about the things that we don't want to do? Like, I've got a pile of laundry that is sitting in the laundry room and has been for a week.
Right. And that's something that it's one of those things that it's like it's not a time pressing issue, but it does need to get done eventually. And I think now is the perfect time to get a little bit creative with how we're renegotiating the workloads in our home, how we're redistributing tasks. Maybe it makes more sense to you to dedicate a day of laundry, or maybe it makes more sense to you to do a load a day. It's about reevaluating the way it gets done. Maybe it makes sense that you have a housekeeper that comes bi-weekly, and those are the days that you can focus or tell her to do the laundry. It's all about evaluating where you can maybe renegotiate or redelegate or have those tough conversations at home with the splitting of the duties, because the reality is, as working moms, we are also taking on that second shift a lot of the time, right? So if it's not working for you, how can you redesign things so that it does?
Yeah, I think we've done a bit of that and have reevaluated the shift a little. And like, we're not going out as much, so we have reallocated some of our funds. It's still just trying to figure out like where there's still not enough hours in the day, regardless of doing all of those things. So we're still trying to figure out where we shift our focus. And like, we're exhausted, so we often just want to sit and watch some Netflix.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if that is where you're at in this season of life, it's also a bit of telling yourself the truth. And like I said at the beginning, giving yourself a bit of a break during this time. We're not going to be doing all the things that we're normally doing. And you made a great point about you're reshifting where some of your funds are going through your budget and whatnot. So if you're able to take money that you once spent on going out and can put it into maybe extra childcare or extra housework help, or investing in a life coach to help you determine some ways that you can make some changes. It's all about redistribution and rethinking how things have been done to make it work for you right now. And the point is too, when we're able to take that step back, and as hard as it is to maybe sometimes get that time to ourselves, it is so essential to be able to show up for our lives the way we want to.
And so, do you typically like work on this in baby steps? Um, Plan little bits at a time to make the shift?
Absolutely. I like to say your energy flows where your intention goes, right? So everything is baby steps. And when you have maybe a bigger picture that you're working towards, you can action it out in smaller steps to get there. And you can see that progress along the way. And that's actually super motivating to see making some changes. Or maybe it's just that, you want to take that extra bit of time to figure out a new hobby for yourself during this time. It's like you need some time alone. Even if it's just half an hour a week that you start with dedicating to that, like, wouldn't that feel so good if you knew you had half an hour just to you to look forward to doing something that's been, waiting on your plate for a while? That in itself is very, very motivating.
Yeah, I feel though, and I don't know if you guys can write in the chat if you feel this too, that there is still some guilt around doing things for myself when I should be putting the laundry away or making healthier lunches for the kids instead of giving them a bag of goldfish. Um, I just feel like there's a lot of conflicting priorities, and I tend to always put myself second, I guess.
For sure. And I think a big thing about that is that the guilt forms that negative cycle, and it kind of fuels the resistance to spending time on yourself because you feel guilty about it. But a lot of that guilt comes from already a negative thought loop that you're getting in, and it's kind of anxiety based in and of itself. And we know deep down, are you a better mom, Dana, when you take that time for yourself? Are you more patient? Are you feeling more like you can handle it better?
Yeah, yes, 100%. Yes.
Right.
Feeling more
So
like
it's like
me, yes.
we know what we want to do, but our minds sometimes trip us up with that. And so the real key to battling that is, first of all, developing a little bit of like anxiety coping skills during this time. And one of that is through the management of your negative thoughts, because your negative thoughts are really where your guilt comes from. And it's not realistic thinking because, again, you're better off for taking that time.
Yeah. To be honest, I have been up since like 3 a.m. because I woke up to go to the bathroom and then started thinking about work and could not cycle out of it. And so I got up at 5 and started doing work because I just like couldn't
Mm-hmm.
get out of that mindset of like resting until the
Right.
morning to figure it out.
Yeah.
So
I've
like, I'm doing it now.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And you know what? This is the thing. Um, I don't think there's anything wrong with shifting around your time. And maybe that means you could take a little guilt-free break at 3:30 and just close the computer for 10 minutes, go stand outside and get some fresh air. Like, you have to shift things around so that on the overall picture, it's balancing out, right? And working through and understanding maybe those negative thinking traps that you get caught into, which is something that I work through. It's not like you just learn how to do it. It takes a lot of practice and exercises, but you really can start to notice how your thoughts are kind of tripping you up in a way and making you get stuck in that perpetuating cycle.
Yeah.
And then when you're able to label them and see them for what they are, you can counter them that much quickly, or much more quickly, and you can get back to that state of maybe being able to fall asleep, or at least not feeling so miserable. Like, I get it. Once I'm up, I'm kind of up, right? And my brain starts, especially at that time, like that's the time of day where you just wake up and it's hard to get back to sleep. But you don't you don't have to allow yourself to feel so bad about it,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, it all does. It does. It's just practice.
It's practice, and it's
I know.
definitely it's like, as I said before, where your energy goes, or your energy flows where your intention goes. And it's all great in theory, and it's all things we already know, but we don't have the skills sometimes to just put these plans in action, and we don't have the support system or the time. And that's where I'm finding in the clients that I'm working with right now, so much of what we're doing is actually just super basic life management, and it's making such a huge impact on them because they're just, again, those little baby steps. gets
Yeah.
little goals going and little momentum created and shifts seen, and that can keep, you got to keep working at it, and you got to stay accountable to yourself.
Yeah. Is this basically like a life coach session?
It's a little bit like a life coach session.
Is it?
I'm talking
Would we
way
have come up
more.
with an action plan?
We can try in the
No, we don't need to. I think we should open the floor. I'm just curious that like maybe people are curious if this is like what a life coaching session would be like.
this is a little bit too much of me talking for a life coach
Okay.
session, because I really like to work with someone directly and ask them the questions and have them pull out the answers that they already kind of know. I mean, you know what you're missing, you know what you want, and you do know how to get there, but you need help in putting it into action. And I may
Yeah.
have a few suggestions too as well.
Right.
But a coaching session is generally, it's so applicable to just your situation, and you're the one finding the solutions. I just help like bring it out of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So an
Okay,
action
cool.
plan in this case, that like if you were in a coaching session and you were having a hard time in managing you know your day-to-day life, a weekly goal, where you want to go for the next month, things that are important, that's definitely what we'd be working around, creating an action plan for, creating schedules, even communication tools for you to delegate those tasks or talk to your spouse about things and how you're coping.
Right. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So yeah, I'd love to open it up to questions. If anyone
If
out
people
there,
can join us on screen, they can come on. I think
that would
they
be
just
great.
asked for permission. I'm not sure. Or write in the chat.
And I'm just reading the comment from the cleaning saved your marriage. Absolutely. Yeah, I feel the same. We had a house cleaner at one point, and then we've kind of shifted some things around for us, but hiring external help for childcare is what saved my marriage. Definitely.
Yes, the day the boys went back to daycare, I feel like I was reborn.
Yeah.
Since like after COVID a few weeks ago or months ago, I guess now. Yeah, it was like a whole new outlook on life.
Yeah, no kidding. It's amazing how you really need that time in the day, right? To take, even as I said, to work. And I know we don't want to look at work as that sort of personal development time, but I mean, ideally, we like to be hopefully doing a job that's at least fulfilling to us personally. And if you're not, I don't think that it's impossible during this time to find something else. I mean, I think it takes a little bit of creativity and reimagining what that might look like for you. But it's kind of also seeing this as a time to be reborn, as you said, like, who knows what's going to come out of it. We're in a little bit of an incubator right now, and things can kind of, you can dream and you can start making plans and take those baby steps to start shifting your life. So
yeah.
Any questions from anybody?
Comments? Anyone feeling the same way? I would be surprised if you aren't, because I feel like so we run Moms Manitoba, and a lot of the comments from our followers are like everyone's living the same life right now. Everyone's kind of taking it day by day and struggling through certain things, and finding connection and a little bit of balance seems to be helping. Not that I'm practicing what I preach, but I can try.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's definitely, it's hard, and it's not every day perfect, and that's where the forgiveness and compassion and lowering the expectations for the year has to come into play too, because the reality is it's like being postpartum. Like, in that time, you always have to reevaluate the season of your life, and it is just a season. And we know that things will change eventually. Nothing is forever. That's actually a little mantra I've taught my 4-year-old. Nothing is forever except for love. Because he gets in that kind of headspace of like, this is going to be forever. And I think we do that to ourselves.
Yeah.
As people.
Totally.
Right? Just read this comment.
Yeah.
Yeah, you feel stuck because exactly the options to get out and spend time on yourself are not the same as they were. You can't just go to the movies with a friend or go out for dinner. Can't go get your hair done. Maybe you don't want to sit with a mask for 3 hours under a hot thing. You know, I've only had my hair done once this whole time. So it's definitely finding maybe things that getting creative or going back. One of my greatest recommendations that I do with people is go back in your life to when you felt amazing and what was going on. What were you doing? Were you getting your hair done or were you doing something else? Like, what other thing can you bring back that you're missing right now? Do you enjoy being outside? Okay, well, maybe you need to, like, being in nature is important to you. You feel calm, but you live in the suburbs and you don't know what to do. Well, can you just carve out 10 minutes to go hug a tree? I don't know. Like, um, start a running routine, a walking routine, bring back things that made you feel good at a different stage in your life. Maybe it's even like, I know for me, sometimes it's picking something to learn about. I like that. I like to pick a topic I don't know a lot about, or there's something I want to learn about. So sitting by myself for half an hour to just read online, that could be that fulfilling me time that I need. And it kind of crosses a couple things off the buckets. Like, it gets that personal development time down, it gets the quiet time down, it's the like focusing on an interest. So you might want to look at it from a couple different angles.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's also
Oh,
funny that you say that you like learning something. Oh, yes, I also just ordered a book.
yeah.
I don't know when I'm going to read the book, but I thought it was the first step.
Virtual conferences. That's awesome. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. It's you've just redesigned a way to still get what you need and what's fulfilling to you in today's constraints. So I think that's wonderful. And that's the whole thing. It's really, I think, re-looking at how we've spent our money in the past and how
Mm-hmm.
to reinvest in ourselves. And yeah, if I could tell everyone to start meditating, I would. That's like the one thing I would.
Did you, Melissa, I have a question actually about meditating because
Yeah.
I feel like I should start, but did you start with an app or did you just start doing it?
Yeah, start with an app. You know what's a great app for beginners is Headspace. Because
Okay.
even with a free trial, you can work, I think it's up to 10 minutes. And
Okay.
the guy's voice is so soothing. And actually, on YouTube, they have
Like soothing, but not annoying.
no, not annoying at all. And on YouTube, they have his voice with Elmo on Sesame Street, and they did a little like meditation for kids.
Oh,
So yeah,
cool.
Headspace is great. Calm is also a great app. And Insight Timer is one I use. It has some guided meditations on it. It's free. Um, some of the other ones you have to pay for.
Can you write those in the chat,
Yes,
Melissa?
I will. I will
Just in
do.
case anyone else is interested.
And the other thing you can do is just set a timer. Start for 2 minutes of just seeing your breath rise and fall, recognizing your breath. Maybe you want to put it to music, maybe you just want silence. It's kind of up to you. Play around with it. There's also some great books on how to start meditating. It's also something I do in my practices as well with people, is start them on a meditation practice if that's what they're looking for. So I'm just going to write in here, Headspace, Calm, and Insight Timer are the apps that I use. Or yeah, honestly, just the clock on your phone. That works as well. So
Okay, amazing. I think we're down to 1 minute left.
okay.
That went
It did go
fast.
really fast. I know. I feel like I could talk forever about this. And if anybody is struggling with how to kind of maintain that balance, I mean, I'd be more than happy to connect with them. So I'm also going to just put my website and booking form
Mm-hmm.
here in the chat. And I offer a 30-minute complimentary call to start so we can kind of evaluate where you're struggling and where you want to see these changes in your sense of balance in life and maintaining that inner peace. And we can see where that goes. So it's totally
Amazing.
obligation free. Yeah,
Well, back to my balanced life. I literally have a meeting starting.
I do too.
But this was great. Thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of Mom Fest.
Yes, it was so fun. I'm gonna tune in later to something else too, I think.
Oh, cool. And if you guys want, follow us on Moms Manitoba also.
Yes, definitely. Okay. Thanks
Bye.
for being here. Bye.